everyone, you are now tuning into itsmontez.com. My name is Montez McCamish and I am the host of the show. Have you got a Facebook? I've got a Facebook. Make sure you connect to me by just searching Montez McCamish. I'm very active. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's a great way to reach out to me. Make sure you head over to the website, itsmontez.com. Click on the tabs above to give you a more in-depth about what exactly I am doing. Are you looking for an interesting article to read? You may now do so by going to itsmontez.com, clicking on the More tab, and clicking the selection of blog. This is where you will find more information. Thanks again for tuning in. itsmontez.com. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you don't do that, you can't keep up. Duh. So when we're getting to the point and we're talking about value, supplying value, being worth value, bringing value to someone, a lot of times we don't take the time to sit down and think about how we can find the value in ourselves. Exactly, how can we show the value in ourselves without having someone pay for it right off the bat? Well, I've got a video for you here, and I hope this can clarify it up for you. I hope this can give you some power for you to find out how you can find your value and then decide on how you're going to distribute it, whether or not you decide to go through your blog or your websites, or whether or not you want to use Facebook or Snapchat, just however you find out to do it. Listen to this interview, and I hope that it can give you some insight. A lot of people are in the music industry, into blogging, into a lot of things. I'd say beginners, people that are in your teens. If you're like maybe just starting out to doing something, that is critical. Gary Vaynerchuk speaks about it a whole lot as well, giving value to the people. But everybody's like, I want to sell it. I want to sell it. Like, so that whole epiphany thing, that whole giving the value thing, like, can you go a little bit further deeper in there? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, how do I give value? I don't have any value. I don't know any value. Can you go deeper into that for me?
Sure. And everyone does have value, and it's understanding the value you bring to the table that is so important.
I'd say finding your value is going to be one of the hardest things for you to do. Not everyone's born knowing what their value is, but everyone is born with a talent. So usually when you find out what your talent is, that could somehow apply to the value that you bring. But then again, I think when you think of value, you really need to stop and think of the smaller things. Like if you're thinking about like polls, or if you're thinking about what people like, on certain situations, they'll have like Nielsen's rating. They'll come out and they'll ask you questions. Or if you're thinking about voting, or if you're thinking about like feedback for someone, your feedback is very valuable. So like you have a lot of people on YouTube that might give their experiences on a product that they've used, or what do you call that, a review. If there's lots of different things to where there is value. It's just whether or not you see it as value. So a lot of times I think you're going to have to take your head outside of the box and really live as if you are the box. You know what I mean? You have to think a little bit further on the outside whenever you want to find your value. But I do think that this should help you out, trying to help you find your value. It should give you a leadway on how to give you direction to find more value. Anyway, let's tune back into this interview.
Now, at first, you may not have a whole lot of people wanting to hire you and pay you money for what you're doing, but there's always a way to build relationships with people. And it's building those relationships that lead to getting the opportunities to provide value in such a way that you'll be compensated financially.
So after we hear him say that, he says build relationships, and a lot of people are like, okay, I can't build a relationship. I don't know how to build a relationship. But the biggest thing is right here, right now, today, what you're listening to me on, whether in fact you're on your phone or on your Mac or on your PC or on your tablet or whatever the case is, whatever you're listening to me on right now is the biggest tool for communication. Right now, you are in a universe to where there are thousands and millions of people sitting here right now looking for a conversation. If you look at Facebook and the functions and how it works, it's solely on conversation. It's solely on people liking your content, letting you know that they like your content. It's solely on messaging back and forth to someone that you're talking to. So when you find these people inside the groups or inside the things like this, when you find these people, all you really got to do is build a positive relationship. Again, building a relationship is not all the time the easiest, but then if you think about it, when you first met somebody, it takes time. So like if you're trying to build a relationship in a day, you sometimes it might happen, but if it does, good, that's great. But if it doesn't, you can't just stop there. So we look at YouTube, for instance. If someone's sending you a comment on YouTube and you don't respond back to that comment, that's a relationship you missed to make. If someone's tweeted you and you haven't tweeted them back, that's a relationship you missed to make. If someone has commented on your Facebook post and it was a while back, but you had just got a comment today, but the post that you made was 2 weeks ago, and you don't respond to that person, that's a conversation you just missed that you could have made. That conversation that you make makes a friend. After you make the friend, then it's possible to make the revenue off of whatever you're doing.
So as you said, a blog is a great way to build value and get people to know the kind of value you provide without their having to take a chance in order to consume this value. You can have a talk show like you do and interview people. And when you do that, not only are you bringing the value to your guests, but you're building relationships with the people that you are interviewing. You can bring value to people when you know what they're looking for and you can connect them with someone else. All the while, sure, you're out there selling your products and services, absolutely, but you're also building these relationships. And then when you build these relationships, you're in a position, you've created the environment where you can ask people for advice or you can ask people to introduce you to someone and do these things. So it's always a matter of looking for, what you can give as opposed to what you can get, right? But that's just the focus. The focus is on the giving.